Hello, Sergeant Dan here. I'm a 27 years old IDF veteran. I wounded in both of my knees at the mandatory service. These days I volunteered to be with my friends at the front line. I believe that everyone watches the news. There's not much to say. We are experiencing now the most horrific event the Jewish people has ever experienced since the Holocaust. Just got a few hours of refreshment at home. As time passes by in these events, I have a thought I can't get out of my head. A thought I'm debating with my close friends, and I want to hear your take on this one. Feel free, it's an open discussion, like, share, tell me what do you think. So I will start this argument in a very theatrical saying. There are no innocents at the Gaza Strip, and I will explain why. The first claim I want to make, the group of people we call the Palestinian people. I talked about the subject in previous podcasts. This is important for me to clarify that until 1967, there was no such thing as the Palestinian people. For hundreds of years, Arab Muslims and Jewish people lived under many regimes of many empires that changed here throughout history. The land here received the name Palestine from the Roman Empire, who named this place after the Philistines, who have historical roots to the Greek. There is no historical connection between Palestine, the name, to those who call themselves Palestinians. The point is that in 1948, right before the independence war of Israel, the UN gave the Jews who lived here a part of the land, and the other part to the Arabs who lived here as well. About 60% of the lands were given to the Arabs in the proposition, and 40% of the land to the Jews. The Jews were happy. We were happy and said yes. The Arabs said, Itbach el Yahud, which literally translates to let the Jews be slaughtered. Itbach el Yahud literally translates to let the Jews be slaughtered. Those who attacked us back then were Syria, Iraq, Egypt, and the Muslims who were part of these countries and lived here. The Palestinian people is a term invented in 1967 to try and rebranding the idea that evil Jews, evil colonialist Jews, took their land. And why the Palestinian isn't a nation? Why they never were a nation? They never wanted to declare independence over Palestine. No matter how many plans we gave them, how many agreements, how many talks and peace agreements at the UN and with the US, they never wanted to declare independence over Palestine. Because the only ethos that unites them as a nation, as the Palestinian nation, is that there will be no Jews from river to the sea. Hating Jews is the only thing common that unites the Palestinian people. Besides being Arab Muslims, the Palestinians have no common culture. They have no customs that distinguish them from the others. They have no common history. They have one clear and declared ethos: murder of the Jews and hating of the Jews. That is the Palestinian people in a nutshell. And recent events have showed that to the world as well. The second claim, and in my opinion the more important claim, for the last 20 years, last 20 bloody years, mothers giving birth to children and send them to commit suicide in the name of jihad and Allah. Countless bombing, countless dead children, poor quality of life, and still we haven't seen one uprising in Gaza. Not one rebellion, not one protest. In every regime, totalitarian or not, and let's focus on the last 20 years, the Arab Spring, civil wars in Sudan, Ethiopia, and Syria, places that there are over 1 million casualties. Even in China, when the government passes some sort of economic decision that hurts the middle class, we see an uprising, we see protests, some sort of rebellion, some sort of express of disagreement with the way of the government, with the way of the regime. The point is, whenever there's a large group, not even the majority of the country, a large enough group that does not agree with the government, we will see a rebellion, we will see protests, we will see some sort of uprising that expresses disagreement with the way of the government. A group of people that says, that's it, we had enough. We are not capable of continue to live this way. It is costing us our lives, our children's life. And we need to protest. We need to do some sort of acts of disagreement and change the way we live. When is the time we will not see protests? When the citizens are agreeing with the ways of the government. If the government is acting in some sort of way and the citizens do not say anything and just continue living under this regime, so they're probably agreeing with the government. There are no innocents in Gaza because apparently the majority of the people who elected Hamas to power in Gaza are agreeing with the way it works. No matter how many budgets, fundings of water, the UNRWA organization of the UN who provides Gaza with hospitals and schools, billions upon billions of dollars from the Arab countries and the US humanitarian aid that have been poured there for over 20 years, and somehow they always run out of everything except weapons. What I am failing to understand is that Hamas comes and takes these budgets He takes it from the women of Gaza. He takes it from the children of Gaza. He takes pipes meant for drinking water to build missiles. He uses playgrounds meant for children to shoot rockets from it. And the same with hospitals and the same with schools. Hamas takes from the residents of Gaza their most basic human rights, makes their life a living hell. He uses the people of Gaza as resource and leaving them in poverty only to attack Israel time after time. And time after time, Israel defending itself. Israel never attacked first in the Gaza Strip. There was always Hamas attacks and Israel respond. Ever since the disengagement in 2005, Gaza, the Palestinians within it, and Hamas as the government has been self-governing. Israel has no power about what's going on inside the Gaza Strip. Israel is providing them with water, with electricity, with gas, because they can't provide for themselves. And why is that? Billions of dollars are pouring in there, and they still have nothing but missiles. And yet the people of Gaza continue to be killed by Hamas's actions. And still, no protests, no rebellion, no uprising. There are no groups opposing Hamas regime. They elected Hamas democratically and have not opposed any of his actions ever since. So in my opinion, this indicates that there are no innocents in the Gaza Strip. The people there, the Palestinians, most of them are agreeing with the way of the government. The point I want to convey in this video is that we must change our perception regarding of operating in the Gaza Strip. Even if we kill Hamas, even if we kill 50, 60, 70,000 members of the organization and all of its activists, still at the end of the day, who do we leave in charge? Children who from infancy, learning from the mother to yell Idbach El Yahud, slaughter all Jews and shoot AK-47? Or maybe their cousins who are taught by their mother to slaughter Jews, to slit their throat while they sleep, to burn their houses. The only way we, as the people of Israel, can continue to live here safely, at least from this side of the map, is the understanding that there are no innocents at the Gaza Strip. The goal of this war should be the complete discharge of all weapons at the Gaza Strip. Now, of course, I do not call to commit genocide. We are not like them. We are Jews, and I am proud to say as a Jewish person that after 2,000 years of history we have, that they persecute us, murder us, tortured us, committed genocide, the Holocaust, 6 million of our people dismembered, and still, we never once did anything barbaric like the Palestinians did. If the residents of Gaza, accepting the fact that their government officials are returning after murdering, raping, beheading babies, burned parents hugging their children, there are 234 bodies that cannot be identified because there's nothing left to identify. If those people accepting the terrorists coming back after doing those hideous things, these abominations, with baklava and tea and celebrations, so there are no innocent people in Gaza. Gaza is Hamas. Hamas is Gaza. That is the narrative of the Palestinian people. That is the only thing who brings them back together. Hating Jews, killing Jews. No Jews from Jordan to see. To finish this video, I want to make one more argument. The change of perception shouldn't be only within Israel. The change of perception should be global. You need to understand the Palestinians and those who support them are not Westerns. They don't want to be Westerns. They are not interested in higher education, economy, trades, or any of the goods the West has to offer. They have their own worldview, and it is time we stop towering over them and thinking we are better, because they see this and they're taking advantage of it. They understand that weakness and they're using it. They take advantage of the kindness of the Europeans to build mosques in Central Europe to preach against the West. They stand in centers of cities like Washington, D.C. and Boston. And what do they shout? What do they shout in these rallies? They shout death to Israel, death to Jews, death to the West, death to America. You can look it up online, it's everywhere. Israel is just the beginning. You all got a glimpse of what the radical Islam is capable of. What could happen tomorrow at your streets, at your hometown. You don't seem to understand that the battle here isn't between Palestinian narrative or Israel narrative. The battle here is between Western culture versus radical Islamic anti-West culture. The choice here is yours. You either support a democratic state that stands for human and individual rights, or you stand for a fanatical religious group who want to live by a code from 1,000 years ago. Those are the arguments I wanted to convey. We will see better days. We will win this war, I have no doubt of it. Our people did not die in vain. The state of Israel will do everything it can and needs to be done at the Gaza Strip for these abominations to stop. We will win and we have to win because we have nowhere else to go. Thank you for listening.